this group, as you can see. So unlike what's that group, Kuro's Nest, that's almost already done playing their races, we're taking a look at a little bit of a slower starting group. These guys have just started to schedule their first one, but we still have a couple weeks left in the group stage, so that's perfectly okay. And what are you thinking we're going to see in this race coming up here, Ice? Like, who you're thinking is going to win? Or we're going to see spaghetti here and there? What are you expecting?
Well, so far, JHobz definitely has the much faster time. I know SonikBuster has been running this game for a while as well, but she hasn't gotten nearly as fast as JHobz. I think it's about 13 minutes difference, yes.
Alright, so I'm getting word that audio is still impossible, as expected. So I'll just say once again, welcome to some Ori action. I'm Sigma, and on co-commentary with me today is going to be Iced. How's it going, buddy?
Good.
Good. Yeah, so as we can see on the stats screen here, JHobz has a much better PB than Sonic. Oh my gosh, we actually updated the stats screen. This is incredible. Sonic PB'd in the warm-up for this race just beforehand, and we already got it up there. It's a 46.25, so that's pretty cool. But one thing I do want to say about this race is that the difference in personal bests doesn't tell the entire story here. I would say that JHobz is definitely favored, but he's also incredibly rusty because he's been spending all of his time, rather than actually practicing Ori, just working on the production of this tournament, getting things like these backgrounds and the replays and all of that stuff set up. So he's what one might call a big bucket of rust at the moment. I think his best run since he's derusted Ori for this tournament, he said was a 38 something, which he got just before this, and he's been having some trouble getting back into the action. So we'll have to see how it goes. I think he's still favored, but it's tough getting back into things, don't you think?
Yeah, I would certainly say I've seen SonikBuster do a few runs recently, and personally, I feel like her issue is she needs to commit to some of the more, well, I wouldn't say it's easier, but the filler stuff sometimes can be very, like, scary at times. Just coming back from Stomp, going over to Charge Flame, you can accidentally just die off of something. I feel like she could be very scared of that. But I have seen her on some very difficult parts pull off very hard tricks very easily, seemingly. So she could possibly pull off something crazy, I feel like.
Yeah, we'll be getting into the race shortly here, so we'll see how this one unfolds. I'm kind of expecting that we'll see JHobz probably take a bit of an early lead, but then I wouldn't be surprised to see some nasty deaths later on, and that could shake things up a little bit. But we are underway. We've got both of our runners moving through the prologue skip A-OK. And as we get into the start of the race here, I just want to ask you, having just done a race, what's going through your head at this part of the race? I know a lot of people say that there's issues with nerves coming into tournament races, but for some people it goes away right as you start. How is that for you? Like, do you feel like you get relaxed as you start to play, or do you still feel jumpy until you've gotten to a certain part of the game?
For me, when I started right before this whole day, this was my first real speedrunning tournament I've been in. So I've been thinking about this all day, and I didn't want to mess up at least the beginning, not including the end. But after I got started, about when I got to wall climb, I felt like I was just going to get in a rhythm and go with it.
Yeah, that's cool. I think that's kind of how it feels for me as well. Like, maybe that's amplified by the fact that Ori's early game is pretty spooky in terms of the cost of deaths you take. Once you get to about double jump, you can make saves in a lot of areas, and your deaths will only cost you maybe 20-30 seconds at worst. But in the early game, it's easy to take a death that costs you 2 minutes. So the start of the game is certainly very tense. And to add a bit to that tension, Optimally, runners will damage boost down to 1 health during this section we're going to now, up to the first keystone door, so we'll see how both of our runners manage to handle this. Alright, so yeah, we have JHobz a little bit ahead coming to this first keystone, takes an intentional hit from that slime there, and Sonic coming up close behind. Health drop from the slime. That's really rude. That's probably going to mean he's at 2 health for the ghost door. He opts to just pick it up instead of trying to skip it and lose some experience. And wait, did that second slime drop health too? Is this the legendary 3 health ghost door? Let's count 1. Okay, no, it was only 2. So JHobz is gonna go pick up this 4th health cell. I've really enjoyed the fact that 4 health is actually required. I mean, 5 or 6 health is what most people will take by the end. I would view 5 as the very minimum requirement, but it's nice and pleasant that you don't lose so much time grabbing this health cell now, as opposed to earlier when we didn't have long damage boosts at the end and you had to stick at 3, don't you think?
It makes everything, at least mid-game, a lot more safer, I would definitely say. Or at least more comfortable.
Yeah. Of course, you know, it's not too pleasant having to go down to 1 health in the final escape, but, you know, it is what it is. So we've got JHobz coming up towards wall jump here, a little bit of a turnaround hiccup there. He gets his level up on the way down. Both runners will be looking to get a level up in that area so they don't have to deal with that horizontal wall as they climb back up. JHobz getting his nicely, so we'll watch SonikBuster as she comes up to the same area and we'll see if the experience manipulation was correct for her as well. And it's looking good because she didn't take the level yet. There we go. Alright, so JHobz has got wall jump. He's going to be hopping off to the left to grab this second energy cell, so already a little bit more sort of pressure going away here. He can make saves if he wants, but most people won't bother saving during this movement over to Blackroot here. You could make 1, but it's pretty unlikely that he's going to die in this section, so no big concern for the next little bit, so we just kind of get to chill out. But, you can't die, but you can lose time as the hanging rock there, or log, or whatever you want to call it, giving him a little bit of an issue. How do you feel about that rock ice? We'll see how Sonic comes up into it, but you like that one? Do you hate that jump? What do you think?
I think it's certainly an interesting jump. You misjudge it so wrong every time just because of how the rock actually looks. I'm pretty sure it might just be a square hitbox, but it certainly doesn't look like it.
Yeah, that's for sure. I think we'll see that later in the run in a few places too. The spike hitboxes here and there don't quite match up with their actual damage, so you may see people kind of just die in, you know, something like Sorrow Pass later on, and it's like, wait, they didn't get hit by that, or jump through a wall of spikes and everything is okay. It's an interesting game.
Yeah, or just amplify it off of accidentally dashing in spikes.
Yeah. Alright, so we got JHobz making his cutscene skip into Blackroot Burrows, Sonic coming up close behind here. And we'll see how this section goes. Pretty much all you want to pay attention to in Blackroot Burrows is that nothing too terribly catastrophic happens. Because you are bound by platform and laser cycles in here, you have a bit of leeway to make the fastest possible cycle. And we see one safety save from JHobz there, just making sure he doesn't fall into these spikes in this room, because that would be real painful. Now he's going to jump up, nice clean getting this 100 experience, so he should be a-okay on these cycles going through Blackroot here. We'll have to see how Sonic's goes. I think a lot of runners tend to say that Blackroot might be their least favorite area of the game, both because you're moving slow carrying this orb, and it's quite easy to just take a death here and lose a bunch of time. And, you know, little micro optimizations don't count for much since you can't go any faster than the platforms allow you. What do you think about this, Ice? Are you a Blackroot fan, or do you wish that you didn't have to sit on an auto scroller to go get dash?
The only thing I really don't like about Blackroot Burrows is just the jump coming back when you first pick up the orb. One of the platforms has to be floating down, and it's like floating up and down cycle. It's not very noticeable, but if you jump at the wrong time, you can just fall into the spikes, and it would just be reset probably pretty far back to the cutscene.
That's the word. Sonic did a good job dealing with the splatter shot there. Her orb actually dropped on the wrong side of the energy crystal, and she couldn't pick it up, so she had to dodge a couple spider shots, kill the crystal, and grab the orb, but she didn't get knocked down. So this is good, but I will note, Sonic's experience is really high here, so she actually is going to have to skip this top slime, which can be a point of trouble. It's not the easiest thing, and oh my gosh, oh no, she walked off that platform and is taking a dump into these spikes. Oh god, no, falling, god, terrible. That hurts. Fortunately, she does have a safety save here at the start of the lantern part, so she'll just have to make her way back up there, but oh no, god. I think Grim and Flux were talking about this before the race, and Flux said this right here, this lantern part, is absolutely the worst part of Blackroot, and a lot of people would agree with that, I think.
If you start getting flustered, you can certainly just feel like, I need to go faster, and then you just get hit by a pellet, and then just fall into the spikes, take a bunch of damage, and then you can't do it again.
Sonic making sure that she makes the platform cycle this time is looking good, and now we're going to see over on the left on Hobbs' side why Sonic's going to have to be careful with this slime coming up on the right. We need our experience set up so that we can level up off of this enemy that Hobbs is luring over to the right, so Sonic cannot take a level here. Manipulation's good. She gets hit once but not knocked off the platform, so this is good for her, and I think she'll be able to get into the dash room okay. Now back over on the left, we got Hobbs carrying this Frankie through, and he's got it down to 1 health, so he should be able to kill it, get his level. Oh gosh, that experience was a little low, but it's okay. He gets his level up, and now he's into the death run. We'll have to see how this one goes.
I believe he got out with 2 health, which is nice.
Just a little spooky there. Hobbs opting to play it safe. He's just gonna kill all of this crap on the walls rather than dealing with any kind of fancy crusher movement that might get him killed, and he's through it. He's got his safety save primed, and there, nice sigh of relief for Hobbs there, because now his deaths are far less painful than any he could have taken before. So Hobbs, again, the tricks don't stop here. He's going to be trying for the early grotto cycle. Movement looked good, but just a little bit too early on the wall jump means he doesn't land cleanly on the top edge, and he's going to have to wait for these crushers. It's a 8-second time loss, but that's a really hard trick to get. We've had a relatively low success rate overall in the tournament with that so far, so not surprising to see a miss here and there.
JHobz damage boosting, probably getting ready for the ghost door coming up.
Yeah, gets his save off, he's at 1 health, so the Frankie kills him fast, and that'll let him go down to double jump as Sonic manages to get to the dash tree, so grabbing her big movement upgrade as Hobbs is gonna go obtain some verticality.
Just going for the blind movement.
Oh gosh, he missed the dash glide right away. Yeah, man, I really hate when you get into this situation and you don't know where the heck you are, but looks like he actually really managed to recover that very well. So we notice on Sonic's side, when she dashes, you actually see a rainbow trail going behind her. This is a cheat code the developers put into the game that gives you rainbow dashes, which it's kind of annoying in a way because it gives you the sound effect of a charge dash every time you do a dash. And it can be confusing later on when you actually are charge dashing, but it looks cool, so some people like to use it, and, you know, why not, right? In the meantime, Hobbs having some nice movement through grotto. I think that was that a first try grotto skip? Well, I'll find out in a second. Yeah, it was.
It certainly was.
So nice from him, and showing even some ninja jumping up through this section, so Hobbs is really tearing through this grotto. This is a nice pace for him.
And Sonic is just getting through the Frankie walk door. He's doing good so far, but she's just starting to difficult.
Yeah, this part's very intense. We'll have to see. She gets out of the water cleanly. Oh my gosh!
Okay.
Wow! I think her shot knocked the Frankie back, so it did not land on her. That is incredible.
I don't think I've seen that before. I've always seen him slide down and kill you.
Yeah, I didn't know you could push him back far enough for that to work, but hey, you learn something new every day. I wonder if that's consistent. Alright, so Sonic now through the really terrifying part, so nice getting through the Death Gauntlet first try, so no big time losses there, and she'll be going through Grotto right now. Doesn't manage to get the Grotto cycle either, but JHobz didn't get it, so no time delta coming out of that. As JHobz continues to make it through Grotto, this is actually looking very nice from JHobz. I mentioned before the race that despite his 33-minute PB, which I think in itself is not representative of his skills with the game, it's, you know, there's been route changes and whatnot since then. He said he had only gotten a 38 since he started to de-rest, but this is way, way better than 38 pace right now from him. So he may have actually managed to actually shake all of the rest off, actually, and is playing very strong so far. Sonic having a little bit of trouble getting down a double jump. Oh no! Oh gosh! I had to go and say that JHobz was playing well. I'm sorry, man. That one's on me. Okay, so we'll see how Sonic's blind movement, or maybe we won't see how Sonic's blind movement goes, but we'll know how Sonic's blind movement went in a little while. Remember that JHobz had a bit of a hiccup here on this, but he recovered it quite well. And Sonic's went very smoothly as well, opting to run away from the tree and have a bit more consistent movement up to the water, but gets through there with no issues, so nice pace from her out a double jump. JHobz this time not getting spun to death by those spikes, and will be on his way to the Genso tray.
Ooh. JHobz seems to have missed cutscene skip.
That's some intense mouse movement, and he said to me before the race that if we saw a mouse on his screen, it's because he's using the DS4 touchpad, so that's like him just mashing his finger all over, and just to let us know that he feels a little bit of a salt towards that cutscene potentially. And meanwhile, Sonic pulled off a very nice Grotto skip as well. First try Grotto skip from her, so she's doing very well moving through Grotto, as JHobz is getting through the Genso tree now. Hopping through this Gamer room. JHobz came up with a while back a very terrifying cycle skip on one of the top right Gamer here. He didn't go for it here because it's suicidal, but oh gosh, no. Okay, good recovery, JHobz. Don't fall. Yes, dude. Up there. Second try. Perfect.
I'm not sure of his health right here, but if he touched the spikes... Okay, he made it through.
Whew. Oh my gosh, that's Firefly! I was just making this a little extra exciting for us here. We appreciate the stimulation. So we got a little bit of headbanging there from JHobz. There's nothing you can do to speed up this room, so you just have to wait for the shooter to shoot again, and getting himself psyched up for this mini boss. This part of the game, this mini boss fight is really unique. You don't fight anything for the most part. That takes more than, you know, a second to kill, but here we have a little bit of a break where you get to just spam Spirit Flames out at this big worm and try to take it down. In a casual playthrough, I think most players rather, would kind of fight it in the same way. You do have Charge Flame casually through this part, but it uses energy, so you may or may not use it to kill that boss a bit faster. We would love to have Charge Flame here, but doing so would be a minute or something slower, so we don't do that. We just have to fight the boss, even though it takes forever.
Even with one of the two power upgrades to Spirit Flame Fire, it still would take a lot longer than probably intended.
Yeah, that's for sure. Sonic took a little bit of damage entering this teleporter here. He's gonna smartly opt to take a save. Dying to these spikes on the way out can be very costly, as we saw from JHobz. And just saving there to make sure if she does take another hit, there's no big issue. So Hobbs moving through Ginso now using the bash skill, which lets him propel himself. What? Hobbs, you're crazy. You're going for a double bash on controller? You madman. Okay, he's going for the other setup now. I don't know why were you doing that, Hobbs?
Has to try.
He just wants to show off, man. He's like, yeah, I know you keyboard mouse people have easy double bashes, but I can do it too. Well, we might see another one later. We'll see. Have to wait and see.
Over on the right, SonikBuster is just heading Ginzo, and JHobz is hoping to get key dupe.
Looks like he duplicated those keys fine just by dying on the edge of the spikes there so that he can still put keys into the door while dead. And now he'll be picking up these 4 keystones again. Now, key duplication is a trick that's been in the run for a long time. And we used to do it just, oh gosh, I hope he rekindled that save. I think that he did. But we'll have to see. If he tries to duplicate keys again, then it means he didn't rekindle. If he just goes through and tries to pick up 4, then he had his rekindle. Okay, so we'll find out in a moment here. Is he gonna bash up? Yeah, okay, he got rekindled, so that's not as bad of a death as it could be. And we'll see if he got that hyperspeed there. Nice. Getting a dash as he saves to get into this boss faster, so good job from Hobbs there. And we're gonna see a little bit of a different route from, you know, Ori tournaments of the past. As Hobbs just leaves Ginso instead of going up here. Now, what do you think about this route change, Ice? Do you wish the Ginso escape was still in, or is it just anything to be faster for you?
To be honest, one of the things I hated the most when I first started running the game was trying to get the core skip by leveling up. And one of the reasons I came back was I don't have to do that anymore.
That is true. That's the upside. We have to do this awful frog manipulation into Swamp instead, but you know, your experience is super easy after you're done the Frankie Walk now, so that is a plus. There you have it. We're not evil for removing the Ginso escape. There are benefits.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, I absolutely hated anything to do with XP. I'm sure a lot of other people maybe did too.
Alright, so now awful frog manipulation mentioned. Hobbs is gonna knock this frog away so that he can save before he does this, because this trick is not easy, and as the frog takes a bath you can see exactly why he made that save. He's gonna fall out into the water so that the frog respawns and he can take another attempt at this. He needs this enemy in a particular spot to let him break through the next series of barricades, and he's gotta get his bashes just right to get into position for this. Now, I run the game on keyboard mouse myself, but I know you play on controller, as does Hobbs, so I have to ask your opinion on this trick as a controller runner. How do you think of this? Like, you like this one? Do you wish that the frog was a little more cooperative? What do you think? Oh, gosh.
Oh. Personally, I always liked anything to do with enemy manipulation. It took a little while to first get it, but once you start getting it, it's kind of like Sorrow Bash. It's really hard to forget. So I think after this has been out for a while, this trick's been existing, a lot of people will start to like it a bit more.
Nice. Oh man, Hobbs having a little bit of trouble. What he's trying to do here is grab the shot a second time. This is a manipulation to make the frog shoot all the way to the roof. You might think, why don't you just bash the shot into the roof? Well, the physics of these frog shots are very strange. They have a invisible ceiling that gets set as soon as they're fired, based on the race height. So you need to be up against the roof as close as possible when the frog shoots. What he's trying to do is 2 bashes with 1 shot to manipulate the second shot to be at the right height, and his second bash has just been grabbing the frog because he's been a little bit close. So we'll just have to see how it goes this time. That manipulation looks good, and he gets it. Nice. Good job, Hobbs. Now that said, he did take quite a few tries at it. That was the 6th try to enter Swamp, so this gives Sonic a bit of room to catch up. If she can manage a fast Swamp entry, she can close the gap a little bit, but it's still a pretty commanding lead for Hobbs here. So once again, I'll pose a question to you guys. Do you like to watch your opponents while you do races, or do you prefer to just focus on your own game?
Personally, I'd rather just prefer to look at my own game as, well, at least right now, I'm not at the skill level I want to be really competitive. But, well, it always gets in your head, like, maybe if I'm ahead of them, I can just relax a bit and kind of do a little bit safer strats, or if I'm ahead of them, do much harder strats to try to catch up. Honestly, I think that just psychs yourself out in a wrong way, that you might do something that you're not as great at.
Yeah, that's a really good point. JHobz taking a quick death there. He accidentally stomped and brought this frog down to 2 low health to do this trick he's trying here to grab this ability cell quickly. So he gets it on the second try, so nice job from JHobz. And I'll talk a little bit more about what we were discussing later, but first I want to point your attention actually to both sides of the screen, so look back and forth quickly. JHobz is about to go for Kuro cutscene skip right here as Sonic is doing the swamp entry. JHobz on the left, setting up his bash, and he gets the Kuro cutscene, but he reloads. If he can get this on the second try, he can still save some time over watching this cutscene, but it's a big time sink if he misses it again. So let's see how JHobz' second attempt goes. That position was good, but he gets hit by the shot. The bash is a little bit too early, edging into position again. He got it! My stream froze for a second when it happened, so I got some extra suspense, but good job from JHobz there. Sonic attempting swamp entry. Looks like her frog died, so she's gonna have to take death and try this again, so not managing to close the gap here. JHobz had some trouble with this. Sonic's going for it again, maybe showing some more confidence on this trick, because her save is further away than the safety save that JHobz played, but that's costing her some time in this instance. Oh man. This frog sometimes just does not want to cooperate, and Sonic's definitely having a little bit of trouble here.
I believe this is now our 4th attempt.
Yeah, her blind movement is very, very good though. She's getting all the way to the low ground next to the frog. Whoa! JHobz actually just took a nasty death there, getting stomped by the Frankie right before Seaflame. That is not one you see every day. He'll be scratching his head at that one, like, how the heck did he get me? What?
Okay, it looks like SonikBuster is going to be opting for a safety save just nearby.
Alright. Frog's in a good position now, though. She's going to get it across the water here. JHobz grabbing Seaflame now. Okay, Sonic's got the frog in a good spot, so she'll get an attempt at the trick here. Oh no, did that grab the shot? It did! Shoot. Just a little bit late on the bash means she bashes the shot directly into the frog and kills it, so she's gonna have to try that again. So JHobz is getting into the charge flame area now, and he'll be moving to Valley pretty soon. Now, I did talk to JHobz before the race, and he said that he was going to be watching Sonic's stream during this race, so he knows that he has quite a significant lead going into Valley here, and I think that's going to help relax him and, you know, have him have a clear head for the next series of brutal tricks that's coming up.
One thing I do have to say, other than that last attempt, SonikBuster seems to be getting the blind movement very well. Oh, he's going for another attempt on it.
Yeah. That last time looks like she took some extra damage, and she wants to have the 2 health to throw this frog out of these spikes with. So she took an intentional death there. Now she has a safety save down, so these attempts will be much faster for her. I bet you she'll get it very soon. Sometimes just placing the safety save makes the trick easier because it relaxes you a bit if you think, it's not that bad if I fail this time. But, gets hit by the frog. She's going to have to take another quick dip into the poison water there and try again. Now, taking a look over on the left, JHobz is going to be trying a trick called Fast Stompless. This is notoriously difficult on controller. So we'll have to see how it goes. He has to get this shot going at a precise angle, and yeah, he doesn't like the look of that one. It was definitely low, so he's going to try again. That shot looks very good to me, so now he has to race over to the cell. A little bit of a hiccup with his movement there, but I think he's still going to make it in time. He's bashing up, he grabs the cell, and he gets the shot. Nice job. Sonic got through swamp entry in the meantime while we were looking at that, so we just needed to avert our eyes. And she is through. I do not think that she had energy to save here, however, so this part is a little bit tense. At 1 health, 0 energy. She cannot take any damage here, or she's going to be sent way back and does not quite land on the worm. Yes, take that safety health, thank you. And she'll be able to bash up and get to stomp. Okay, a little bit of a scare at the end there, but getting through that segment, that is not an easy one for sure, and making some progress in the run is very good. Now JHobz on the left is going to be breaking his way into Sorrow Pass. Once again, not a trick that's super easy on controller. It looks like he took a death there to Spike's bird nastiness. And JHobz as well, he mentioned to me that he's trying a new Sorrow Bash method. This is actually the fastest way to Sorrow Bash, and Fooligen is known for doing it this way, where you use 2 charge dashes and a bunch of air dashes to push the bird where you want. This one looks good. Gets the bash, and he's up there. Nice job from JHobz. Alright, so I want to put you in JHobz's shoes here for a bit. You're pretty far ahead in this race, but you've got you know, some spooky sections coming up. But you know, since JHobz is watching Sonic stream, that you're quite far ahead. Would you just play safety saves here and there, just make sure of your victory, or would you at this point really just try to push for a good time, do the strats that you're used to?
I think it would depend on how much energy I have, because if you go up past the first break with the frog, and you have 2 energy, you can do the safety save and do the ghost door while going up.
Yeah, that makes sense. We did see JHobz place 1 safety save at the entrance to the Dorito dungeon up here, so that if he took some unfortunate dip into the spikes, he wouldn't be sent all the way back to the start of Sorrow. Now we kind of vaguely see his traversal back through these spikes. He's got to keep this menu up to optimally break through this roof as fast as he can. And he gets up against it, he makes a save. Nice touchpad control, and just taking an intentional death into spikes there causes this roof to break. And now he can float up to the Sunstone, or he can float into a laser, but that's fine, he can just do this again. It's not a big time loss there. Meanwhile, on the right side, we saw that Sonic missed the Kuro cutscene skip, but less confident than JHobz at the trick, decided not to take a reload, instead just opted to watch the cutscene, which is perfectly fine. Honestly, if you miss it, I feel like just watching it is the right call oftentimes. What camp are you in on that one, Iced? Missed the Kuro cutscene skip, do you reload and try again, or are you just gonna watch it at that point?
I've only ever gotten it once, and that was a long time ago, so I'm not gonna reload it, to be honest.
Makes sense, dude.
But it did seem like Sonic opted not to get one of the energy cells. This might end up affecting her later in the run, but if she's confident in it, I feel like she could probably do good with it.
Yeah, that's true. This 5th energy cell that Sonic ended up skipping was actually a subject of debate in the last tournament. Whoa, JHobz got the weave on the left going out through Sorrow. That trick is very difficult, like horizontal position manipulation as you fall down through the air shaft there to dodge the platform and not have to restomp. So that was really sick right there. So JHobz is showing you, you know, the kind of skill that he has with this game. He might be a bit rusty on some of the tricks, but his movement is very nice. Alright, so back on SonikBuster's side of things. SonikBuster? That's almost her name. She did skip that 5th energy cell, but it's not really that much slower to go with 4 energy. That cell was originally taken just to allow for some extra safety saves here and there, until we eventually found out that the extra charge dashes it affords you are just very slightly faster. So not taking it is kind of a bit of an older route, but we've seen some very different routes in this tournament, and this one is just mere, like a half second or a second and a half slower than taking the 5th energy in the long run, so not a big deal at all. So JHobz is progressing through to climb here in Misty, and we talked about this before a bit, Iced, you know, how many safety saves you take through here. Let's take a bet. Do you think JHobz is going to save in Misty before the mini boss or not?
I'm not exactly sure what he would do. If he's gonna save anywhere, I feel like it would be directly before the mini boss. But I honestly don't know how well he thinks he can do the mini boss or not. Oh,
Yeah.
he takes a death though.
And meanwhile, on the right side there, looks like Sonic heading up towards the Kuro area now has C-Dash leveled, so she'll be able to rocket jump back up after this, after taking the save on the thing, as JHobz makes his way through Misty again. Now, I know JHobz likes to do the fastest thing he can, oftentimes, so even in a tournament race, I think he might not be inclined to save in Misty, even if he takes damage. We saw that death on the first time because he got hit and then fell into some spikes, but I think that's not going to change his mind. He's just going to try to power through this. And there's a little bit of a strat coming up in about 20-30 seconds, which JHobz really likes, called the meatball strats, and we'll have to see what he wants to do. This is going to be a damage boost into a charge jump off of some spikes. I'm not sure if he does it this way now or if he goes with the wall charge jumps, but he does take one safety save there, so already making my prediction wrong. And here we go, meatball strats, charge jump off the spikes into a wall charge jump. Nice, JHobz going through that section very well, so good job from him. Oh gosh, though. There goes some energy. And gets the controller double bash. He's going for the double bash? You madman.
Oh no.
Oh! Okay. You got a couple good double bashes there, but it's very hard to do those consecutively on controller.
And while this is happening, SonikBuster just got past Sorrow Dash. Actually, no. I don't know what I'm saying.
Well, yeah. It's, we're in Sorrow. There's some stuff going on. It's all good. JHobz walked into a room at the end of Misty there, and then there was a door that was closed, but then it opened. I didn't see if there was supposed to be any enemies in that room or not, but there certainly weren't about a second and a half after he walked in, so go figure. JHobz did take some damage on his way out of Misty here, but I don't think he's going to get hit again, so not too much concern as he progresses to the teleporter over to the last skill, Light Grenade. Sonic's made it up to the top of Sora now. No energy to save here, but that's okay. She does have 5 health, so she can eat 1 hit from these spikes, not 2 though, so being a little bit careful moving through here, and she gets to the door. Okay. Oh my god. Oh my god. JHobz just accidentally debugged, and it screwed up his file. He has to load a backup save. I really... Oh, Jesus. Oh god. Back up. Shit, I got it. Sorry. Cover.
Okay. I don't think I've actually seen that happen. I don't know how exactly he was able to accidentally do that, but he might have a corrupted save, but it's likely that he just has to reload.
Yeah, it just had to let him know what to do here. He has to load the save before the debug function he hit takes effect, and it auto saves the game when he used it, but he should have a previous save, and he's restarted the game now. Hopefully that he'll be able to continue his run from where he was.
Apparently.
Well, we'll have to see. Okay, he is loading something now. I'm hoping that this is a file that was in his run. It is. Okay, well, that's a absolutely insanely huge time loss, but he's still in the lead, so it won't, I don't think, matter for this race. I just hope that he doesn't do it again.
I believe this might be the 3rd or 4th time he's had to do this section, so he seems to really be enjoying Misty so far. Oh man, I don't know if he's feeling a bunch of effects from that, but he appears to not be doing as consistent as he was before.
Yeah, you've got to be feeling nervous after something like that happens, but we do know he is watching Sonic's stream, so he knows he still has a lead. He just has to calm down and not press the right stick in or maybe disable debug before your next race. Would be a way to do it, but okay. JHobz is going through Misty. Sonic now with a little bit of kind of free catch-up time there due to the debug shenanigans is heading out through the bottom of Sorrow, and she'll be moving down to Misty as well. But at 1 energy and 1 health is not a comfortable situation. I wouldn't be surprised to see her take a safety save and maybe grab some energy here, but yeah, okay, that's what she's gonna do. Oh crap! Never mind that.
After a safety save, so
yeah,
good.
I thought that death was gonna be way more painful for JHobz. We did save just up to the 4th keystone, so not too bad. But JHobz getting to show the meatball strats twice in 1 run. Very nice. Getting it perfectly both times. I know he really likes that section of the game. And getting the movement up to the mini-boss better. We'll see if he manages to delete this mini-boss as quickly as last time. Not quite, so he has to fight the second worm again. And, oh, it kills him, but he's saved right beforehand, so that's not so bad. And shows off the quick kill correctly on the next try. So nice job from JHobz. Sonic making her way into Misty now.
She is now out of energy, out of probably an area you want a lot of charge dashes. This may be because of her decision to not get the full energy, but she still is doing very well.
Yeah, and I think as well, just taking damage here and there makes you really want to place a safety save. The spikes in Misty, dealing 3 damage, you really don't want to be at 3 health in this area. So even at the cost of a few charge dashes, it's often better to just make a save, make sure you don't die. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a save before this last section. And she doesn't need it. All right, we're just gonna float through here. We'll be okay. So JHobz heading into Blackroot again. Will probably be very careful on his menuing this time, and not accidentally debug himself into a bad situation.
Well, the good thing is he's only about just the last probably 5 minutes of the game at most, so that a lot less chance for something crazy to happen at this point.
Yeah, and just to be clear on the rules for situations like this, any use of debug mode in tournament races to gain an advantage is not allowed, but something like this happening where a player accidentally pulls out a debug function and has to go backwards because of it to undo what the debug did, like JHobz did, this is allowed because it doesn't gain you any time. There's nobody who's going to be intentionally debugging and then being like, haha, I debugged, we have to go back and save. No, this is pure accident, so we allow for that kind of thing. Going backwards. It's just unfortunate for JHobz that he had to go back so far. Wow, nice laser cycle from JHobz on the way out of Blackroot here. And, the next one not quite agreeing with him, but I guess now he knows exactly where the laser cycles are, so we're going to get to see some sick movement coming out from the JHobz on the left here right away. Or he's going to realize that that laser was super spooky and wait for it. Oh no.
I do believe that the nerves are definitely getting to both of them as, well, JHobz's flurry of events, but also I did watch a decent amount of SonikBuster going through Misty Woods, and she seems to be going a lot safer than she usually has been.
Yeah, the nerves in a tournament race are definitely tough to deal with. I think it's very good in JHobz's case that he actually is watching the stream and he still knows he's ahead. If he didn't have any idea, like if he was just looking at his own monitor and he was like, oh my gosh, did I just lose the race with that accidental debug function? I think that would be a lot harder to deal with. It's still a very difficult position to play through, so I gotta give him props for continuing on. But yeah, he's making his way to Horror now. Hopefully the end of the game will go okay for him. Sonic making good progress through Misty as well, so I don't think she's within range to PB unless this end of the game is absolutely incredible, but definitely a good run for her nonetheless. Maybe beating her old PB that was not set just before the race. Alright, Ace, so we're coming up on Mount Horu here. This place is your natural nemesis, since it's, you know, lava and fire.
Yeah, I would certainly say that, but mostly because of Horror Door. I don't know. Doing runs on Xbox for such a long time. Originally, I used to get Horror Door the first time all the time, but now it just seems basically impossible.
It's really a nasty trick. JHobz taking a couple attempts at it here. You have to input up on the frame that the game loads in, and looks like, well, I'll go out on a limb here and say that was third try, but I'm notoriously bad at counting door warps, so it was a couple. And now JHobz going into the final escape. Sonic's on her way to grenade now, just going to refill energy into the last section of Blackroot here. Hopefully no debug functions will come out, but I don't think we have to worry about that too much. Now one thing to note is coming into the end of the final escape, after JHobz gets through all of this terrifying lava and fire, poison water, and all this nastiness, there's one more trick called the final escape grenade jump, where you have to jump from a precise position with one frame input to do a grenade jump. And it's very easy to soft lock, and I know JHobz has been having trouble with this in the past. So knowing that he's a fair bit ahead, but knowing that he's had a lot of issues, I would be interested to see if he even goes for it. What do you think he was going to do in this situation, Ice?
I'm not sure what he... Oh, it seems like he definitely is going for it. But
alright, he wants it. He's setting up the position.
Misses it.
It looks good.
It looks good.
And he's got it. So no soft lock from JHobz, so he'll just be able to hold right and finish out. I'm sure he won't be the happiest with this time, but I think maybe he can just knock 5 minutes off of this in his mind and maybe feel a little bit better. But wow, that's a tough situation, but he takes down the win, so GG, congratulations to JHobz. We'll now take a look as SonikBuster finishes up here, already at the grenade tree, so not too far behind at all. And we'll see how she manages to get over to Horu and finish the game from here.
Sonic takes a death off cycle of lasers, but she's still doing fairly good. I feel like she's definitely going to get under 50 at least.
Yeah, barring any mishaps with, you know, really tough time with door warp or issues with the final escape, I think she'll be able to pull it off. And since she already has 5 health, she'll be going for probably at least 6 for the last swim, which makes it a little bit safer.
Going back to JHobz's run, Sigma, how do you think he did beyond the massive debug issues? And then I forget where else he had a big issue, but how do you think he did beyond the massive glaring issue?
Well, I think he played pretty well considering the rest. Like, I was commenting on it early in the run. Up until he took that death to the spinning spike things outside of Ginso, his pace was actually very nice. And then after that, it kind of started to drop off a bit and maybe show, like, you know, taking the bad deaths is the issues he's been having since he came back. But he was showing, you know, moments of brilliance there, like getting the weave out of Sorrow, getting meatball strats twice, getting the fast kill on the Misty boss twice, you know, and doing all of that while you've got the fact that you lost 5 minutes to a debug function frazzling you, I think is really good, and we're going to see much better things from JHobz in this tournament. I don't think he'll be overly happy with this time, but like I said, there's still a lot of rust, and he's well aware of that, so he'll probably be shaking it off coming into his last few races. Now, putting that aside, Sonic is at Horu now, and will be making her attempts at door warp, so we'll have to see how this goes, and I'm going to put you on the spot. How many is it going to take?
Okay, I already have it right when I first try, it seems like.
You got it!
I did not expect that at all. I was going to say third is JHobz, but...
Well, there we go. I should have wrapped that up faster. That was not a contest at all.
Well, with this pace, she's certainly going to get under 50, which I know is a very decent time. I don't know what to say, but it's very good gatekeeper time, I would say, even with all the issues she's been having.
Yeah, this final escape is no easy thing to get through, though. She has to make sure that she takes absolutely no damage through this section. Wait on that lava cycle to not take an instant death. Has to get over this next part without falling into the fire. That's looking good. Now for the last little bit. The swim and potentially the grenade jump. The spookiest parts of this last bit. And the swim looking good, getting out of there still with 1 health left. Just gonna charge jump up. Skips the curl trigger at the start, so the bird is not gonna chase her through the ending here. And just has to bash up off one of these rocks, doesn't take a hit from one, so that's good. Setting up for the grenade jump now. Okay, we're gonna, looks like the position is pretty good on the wall there, just has to aim and get the input. It's close, but a bit late on the jump caused the input to not work. We're gonna set up again and see how this one goes. Didn't quite get it there. Once again, good position, but this input is very hard to do. It's 1/60th of a second. You have to throw a grenade and then jump just after. And one more try at it. It's using up energy every time. We'll have to see how this goes. Will she get grenade jump, or will she just have to finish? It does only lose you about 30 seconds to just finish the game from here. Last try, not quite. So Sonic will just be finishing up the game with that, just holding right to the end. So overall, I think that's a pretty good performance out of Sonic. This is going to be about a 49, a low 49 or high 48 time, which is not very far off her PB relatively. So, got to give her a round of applause for that performance. There, it was pretty good overall.
Yeah, certainly, definitely for a race setting as well.
Yeah, tournament races are not easy to play in. You know that. I know that. We all know that. It's very tough. Calm your nerves down and just play well in that kind of situation. So as Sonic holds right to finish things up, we are joined by our winner in this race, JHobz. How's it going, buddy? You managed to win this race, but maybe not in the fashion that you may have liked.
Hey, yeah, that was an interesting one for sure. Oh man, so to address the obvious, where the debug menu came up, I dropped my controller because I went to go type in chat. So that's a lesson learned: don't type in chat while you're doing a tournament race.
That was actually a spectacular debug disaster, I would have to say.
the odds of it happening to fall and land exactly on FPS tests where I had to relaunch the game. Whew, that was some slim odds.
Yeah, that was quite something. So I have to take a little bit of blame for that run as well. I gave you a very bad commentator curse because I said your pace was really good up to Genso as we were approaching it, and then you got instantly killed by the spinning crusher things. And I'm really sorry for that, but how are you feeling up till that point about that run?
I was really nervous until I got to the energy cell in the Death Gauntlet, and well, more specifically, once the save came out after that. After that point, I relaxed a lot, and I think that's why I died in on my way to Genso too. I was just I was getting a little greedy. I knew I had a little bit of a lead, and so that I had some time to play with. And when I kind of messed up my movement with the dash glide, I really was just I want to still try to make this cycle, and it was just a little too greedy, and so I made sure I didn't do that the second time.
Yeah, opting to play it safe is never a bad call. I also want to commend you for getting the weave in Zoro.
Yes, I was so happy, dude. I was so happy I got the weave. I if you could have heard me, I yelled. I straight up yelled, yes! It was so good.
Well, if it'll make your day even better, the weave got replayed.
Awesome, man. I hope Tara doesn't hate me too much for trolling him at the end.
Alright, so one final question for you here, Hobbs, from me at least. Are you going to disable debug mode for your next race?
You bet I'm going to disable debug mode. Man, that was a large mistake. Not doing that again.
All right. Iced, anything you want to ask our winner, Hobbs?
Oh, I think I'm good. Very good job on pulling it back from a very bad situation.
Thank you. I attribute all of it to the luck from rubbing the commemorative coin, and I'm sure that's what powered me through the run.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us, Hobbs. Congrats again on your win, and good luck in your future matches.
Thank you.
Now, it looks like Speed Gaming 1 is going to be going offline after this race, but don't despair. There's more Ore coming up in not too long. 7 p.m. Eastern, we've got Raziel versus Zik, and then Steinman versus Lurking Assassin following that. And those matches are going to be on Speed Gaming 2. So we can just take a look here. Mount Toru finally got its first match played, so they managed to play a match before Crow's Nest finished. Good job, guys. We'll be looking forward to see some more matches from Ori later today, and if you're in need of speed tournaments, I'm sure that the other speed gaming channels are probably running some stuff, so just go to them. It'll be fun. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good night, evening, afternoon, time period, you know? We'll see you later.
Try, and he's out with no soft lock. Jumping to Rory and taking the victory in this race.
Yeah, very well done to Rory. That is not an easy thing to do.
Next to the teleporter in Blackwood Burrows. The reason he's able to do that is that if you remember, Zachary was going the older route where he did actually finish the into escape into the water. That means that Zachmir doesn't need any particular amount of health whatsoever. In fact, he could have finished his entire run with 3 health. Still opted for 4 because only a very quickly. That's a rocket jump. And then meanwhile, Griff's is going to be taking his first attempt at Sorrow Bash, which is another powerful sequence break. He'll be using double bash as usual. Just another sort of distinction. We will likely see Griff's going for double bashes, and Iced will almost certainly not use double bashes. It's always
bit of a bad setup on his first attempt at Sorrow Bash. Died on the corner of the spikes, but we'll see how he recovers from that. And
so close.
He made it through, just not as cleanly as he possibly could have, but still very impressive to get Sorrow Bash so quickly.
Light grenade way down in the depths of Blackroot Burrows. Before we can get there, we need to finish the maze-like section, which is Misty Woods.
Yes.
So we'll be doing a series of charge dashes, a series of rocket jumps. There's all kinds of movement tech in this area.
Yes, that's one of the reasons why a lot of runners consider it might seem like you're pretty much in the clear, but there are still quite a few things that could go. Ooh, he's going for a little bit of a grenade jump there.
And got it.
Yeah.
Got the grenade jump, didn't get the angle perfectly, but you know what? It's the attitude that matters, and it's the speed that matters. Remember that each grenade jump...
That shot looks very good to me, so now he has to race over to the cell. A little bit of a hiccup with his movement there, but I think he's still going to make it in time. He's bashing up, he grabs the cell, and he gets the shot. Nice job. Sonic got through Swamp Entry in the fastest way to Sorrow Bash, and Fooligen is known for doing it this way, where you use 2 charge dashes and a bunch of air dashes to push the bird where you want. This one looks good, gets the bash, and he's up there. Nice job from Hobbs.